And lastly, for our last topic, so something more uplifting here, something I was looking forward when this was announced last year by Valve's plan to release the portable handheld device to compete with the likes of Nintendo Switch, which I think they should be concerned because I have a strong feeling with the way they're doing and continue a majority of sales the Nintendo has accumulated over the past few years. It's going to eat up just because of what Steam or Valve has promised to offer and has delivered. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. So here we have an article from arstechnica.com, the Steam Deck's comprehensive review. So I've seen other reviews also from Linus Tech Tips. You also have Gamers Nexus, who did a comprehensive review, and Digital Foundry. They're all very interesting. So I just chose this one to discuss and share with you. So now, take note. Now, it's not available here in the Philippines right now. So, I'm hoping that it can be offered here or shipped here in our region sometime later this year, or worse, sometime early next year. But if you're traveling or going to the United States and you can get access, then good for you. Anyway, so let's dig deep here. So as I mentioned, now in terms of its outlook, it's bigger, chunkier, thicker than the Nintendo Switch here. And obviously, it needs to be bigger because it has a more powerful GPU inside. So it's more than capable of playing, the latest AAA games here. Now, obviously, you can expect 1080p resolution. But heck, it's a portable device. The fact that it can offer that, I think it's pretty remarkable, competing with the likes of Nintendo's, with your Sony console as well, your Microsoft Xbox console here. Anyway, now the pricing is kind of expensive, but the entry level here is around $400. But you only get I think that's 64 gigabytes of storage, which is not enough if you play, you're heavy hardcore gamer here that takes up tens or hundreds of gigabytes of storage, especially if you play the game like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto, to name a few. Anyway, it mentions here, when the Steam works as intended, it is easily the best Nintendo Switch PC on the market. Its processing power, as mentioned, build quality, software flexibility, and the Linux to Windows wizardry can breathe new life into some of PC's back catalog, which is, I think, the key here. That's why it's going to outperform the Nintendo Switch very soon. Just think about it. Nintendo missed an opportunity here to capitalize on its back catalog of games, especially for their subscription base. They offer terrible games. I mean, they had a plethora of games from way back in the early 80s, 90s, all the way to the present, from the Famicom days to the N64, the Wii games, and so forth. They could have capitalized and people would have bought it. I would have bought it. But, if you own a Steam game, now, the oldest game that I play, I don't know if the SimCity Deluxe. It's a very old one. I mean, it's not too graphically demanding, but I was able to play that before, and I still played when I downloaded the Steam app here, and you could play it, and then later on you could change it up and maybe play Red Dead Redemption or maybe play Sifu, and you could play interchangeably on the go, and that's the key here. I think it's gonna sell like hotcakes once they are able to fix the bugs here, and the chip shortage is always not helping. But I think Valve the company, that's Steam. Valve the company has made a tremendous step in terms of competing with the likes of Nintendo here. Anyway, it mentions as a first generation hardware, the Steam Deck they mentioned looks good, feels sturdy, performs well, especially given its base price of $400. The software side of the deck is currently rough. Now, as I mentioned, it's not perfect because not all games in your Steam library will be able to be played smoothly, and even if that it's rated for the Steam Deck, it's not mentioned. So it's kind of hit or miss, so you still have to wait for some updates. If it's a software wise, I think we can bear the brunt here as long as you can play majority of the games here. So it doesn't have to be all of it in one go, because obviously it's their first foray here in building the first ever portable device here, a PC like device here. So it has Windows and Linux supports here. Let's go back. It mentions here one of the biggest caveats of this review. The DeX currently lacks the potential selling point, meaning compatibility to Windows 10. I think I agree with this one. Why not offer Windows 10? Obviously, if you offer Windows 10 compatibility, this benefits Windows, the company themselves. I think that's why they chose to pursue Linux rather than Windows base here. Uh, Valve confirmed that certain Windows drivers for the Steam Deck were not ready. That remained the case as the review mentioned here. While I had the option to dual boot Windows 10 and Linux during the review period, it didn't feel fair to do so, as without full OS support of things like CPU and GPU and audio playback. So, meaning, is it perfect? Obviously, that it'll never, especially if it's in its first iteration here. But the bigger question here is, did Valve deliver as they promised? And looking from the many reviews here, I think they're able to deliver in terms of hardware here. Now, for the software part, so it'll take some time because obviously, they creating a Steam portable on the go for the Steam Deck. It's not the same as having a Steam app for your desktop or PC here. But I'm looking forward to be able to having that device here in our country and being able to play on the go here. Now, will I throw away my Switch? Obviously, not all games are available in this in PC. If you really like Nintendo games, then you need to have your own Nintendo Switch device here.